is covering what is our top five movies, and what we're going to be explaining before that is what we think makes a good movie. To me, cinematography has a lot to do about it. Atmosphere has so much to do about it. I can be drugged into a movie even if it has terrible acting, terrible soundtrack, terrible everything. If it has the atmosphere and you feel like you're there. Then again, being said, some movies are carried by the acting. Movies are carried by directors. Certain directors can really bring a movie to life. They can tell a tale and you feel like you're there. Soundtracks to me, they're come and go. Some are really good, some are just, mediocrely good. To me, a soundtrack doesn't really make a movie. To some people it does. Does it add to a movie? Yes. If it has a good soundtrack, I can get behind that. Just a quick topic.
Titanic.
Titanic had a really good one.
Man, you can't deny their soundtrack.
No, dear God, no. Tron Legacy. Daft Punk, one of my favorite bands, which, we haven't really touched on
Top
music.
Gun.
Top Gun.
Maybe the greatest soundtrack ever.
We haven't really touched on music, so like I said, Daft Punk is one of my favorite bands. Tron Legacy, the whole movie was done by Daft Punk. That movie, terrible movie. Great soundtrack, looked really good, but still couldn't save that movie. With that being said, what is it to you, the viewer, that makes a good movie? Do you care more about character development? Do you care more about story? Do you care more about, like I said, atmosphere? Atmosphere to me is probably my number one on what makes a movie. Entertainment value. How many times can you rewatch this movie without getting bored? How many times can I show people this movie and expect the same reaction that I originally got out of it? With that being said, we would like to hear from y'all what makes a good movie to you. And we're going to now go into what we consider to be our top five
I'm going to
movies.
plug Josh Abercrombie on this, friend of mine. He was one of the first people when we asked about a topic that he wanted to see. Josh Abercrombie responded and he said, one of the things he said was he wants to see an entire show on what makes a good movie. And I think Peeves just touched on a lot of what makes a good movie. We both can agree on pretty much everything you just said.
Yeah.
And we're going to give reasons why, and we're about to give a top five for each of us on what we consider great movies. Peeves is going to lead us off.
What we're going to do is we're going to give our top five and then explain each choice that we make. And my number one, a movie that I can watch over and over again, great cast, great setup, is Tombstone. Now, I understand a lot of people's problems with the movie. It does not stay true to what we've proven in history actually happens. But Val Kilmer, probably one of the most quotable characters, if not the most quotable character of all time in that movie.
Great movie.
Powers Booth, great character. Then we have, of
Sam
course,
Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Oh yeah, I would have probably forgotten him. I never remember his name.
I thought he murdered it. In his role.
And I just drew a blank. Kurt Russell, leader,
Yeah.
leading star of that.
Killed it.
Killed it. You also, at the same time, you had a movie called White Earth come out, which was actually closer true to the actual history of what happened, but in my opinion, a garbage movie. But
I don't think it touched Tombstone.
no. But in my opinion, what makes Tombstone so good, unforgettable scenes, unforgettable lines. You have a good music score, which helps the movie. You have all these unforgettable scenes after unforgettable scenes, and you watch the movie again and again, and you never get tired of it. You never get tired of Val Kilmer's character. You never get tired of Kurt Russell's character. You never get tired of Sam Elliott's character. You never get tired of any of the characters. And
To your point, not to jump in, but he's told me off the record before how much he does not like Westerns.
yes, I'm not a huge Western fan.
So for a Western, to be the guy's #1 movie, I think that is enough from a guy who has the balls or fortitude to make a YouTube channel about movies for a guy who hates that whole genre to have a Western at the top. I think that's enough to at least go watch the movie if you've never seen it.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't hate all westerns. There are
Genre-wise, though, it's how low down the list.
genre-wise very low, but I mean there are some, that are there that
Like The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, something
Yeah.
like that, maybe? Or, I mean, like, but it can't compete with.
what's the one that just got remade not too long ago, a couple of years ago?
There was one that was really, really popular that would come out a couple of years ago, but it was a remake. There was one in the 90s that was so popular. What was that one? It had Emilio in it. What was it called? Young Guns?
Magnificent Seven, yeah,
Yeah.
that was a remake. Now I was thinking the other one, the one that once again Brad is chiming in to help us out when we forget stuff.
By the way, Brad, if you're watching this, I don't want to sit here. I'm way more comfortable right there, but
It had old dude that was in Tron Legacy, all that.
Right.
He was the main star, and he played the dude. It had Matt Damon in it, and once we actually get this movie, we'll go back on topic. It had Josh Brolin in it too.
let's
Here we
just.
go.
When he was the lead.
No, he wasn't the lead. He was
What
the
is- what
cowardly
is-
bad guy dude.
What is the Brolin? Well, we're getting way off topic here, but the Brolin when he was the lead in that Western, what was that?
I can't remember. Another good one that I can think of actually has Kurt Russell in it, Bone Tomahawk. It kind of snuck under the radar of a lot of people.
But Westerns are outdated now, though. They
True
were
Grit.
'80s True Grit. Yeah,
Yeah, True Grit. Yes.
that's definitely a remake. But anyways, back to we're only on his first, so go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, westerns. in
Tombstone. We all see why you like Tombstone.
Yeah, westerns in general, for me to choose a western as my top is, giving that a lot of praise. But there are some out there, like I said. Number 2, John Carpenter's The Thing. By far the quintessential
This is interesting. This is where it starts getting interesting.
horror movie. You want atmosphere, you've got it. You want us to feel generally creeped out by a movie, you've got it. You want to feel uncomfortable throughout the whole movie, you got it. You want to feel paranoia throughout the whole movie, you got it. You want great acting, you got it. You want a good soundtrack, once again, you got it. I don't know how many of y'all would not want to be in a isolated area with some kind of alien being that can mimic a person perfectly and know you have really not much to do about it. As Brad chimes in, Kurt Russell once again. Yes, Kurt Russell's one of my favorite actors. He killed it throughout, his career. Oh God.
Tombstone's is pinnacle, in my opinion.
Tombstone, The Thing. I mean, I can name all kinds of movies that are in at least my top 20 movies or top 50 movies that he'd been in. Hateful Eight, love that movie. Actually, another western, but it's a Tarantino movie. But back to The Thing. It's got the atmosphere, and it's a movie that makes you feel uncomfortable. And it didn't rely on jump scares. It does not rely on CGI.
Jesus.
Yeah, thank you, Jesus. Thank God. We all
You want
know.
Teagues to perform a jump scare before the subway?
No, dear God, no.
You did too the other night. Come on.
I did too, but what I'm saying is this movie doesn't rely on that. It relies on actual, good shock value horror that needs to be turned up. It relies on everything and handles it so well. It's got a good story. I mean, believable as it is, an alien organism being, in the Arctic. Who knows how believable that is?
Sorry, yeah, turn down the music.
If you're in the movie, you can actually have a believable story in the movie, and that some movies they just don't, and some of them can be based on true events and still not have a believable story. And what you can feel in this movie is you feel all the emotions from the characters. You feel the entrapment. you feel the paranoia setting in. With that being said, as a horror buff, best horror movie ever filmed. Probably best sci-fi movie ever filmed too, if you want to go into that too. But number 3.
Ugh.
I can't actually remember the exact order I said my movie though. That's
Hey, it's going, man. We're live.
I know. I'm tired. I have actually not slept that much today.
You named all 5 easily earlier.
Damn it. I know the other 2, but what was number 3?
Go to 5 and work your way down.
Okay. My number 5. Skipping over 3 and 4. Number 5 is Reservoir Dogs. The best Quentin Tarantino movie there is. Some will argue it's Pulp Fiction, and I disagree. That movie's overrated, but still yet a great movie. But Reservoir Dogs is more of a realistic feel to it. Once again, you get involved and captivated into these characters. And what Quentin Tarantino does so well with his movies is show you that these characters are human. And I'll take probably one of the most infamous scenes from the movie is the whole Steve Buscemi tipping scene. And we've all been there. We all have a friend that does not tip no matter what. And Mr. Pink, he did not tip in that movie.
We're talking about tipping as in waitress, not cow as in cow.
Not cow tipping. Yeah, we all have a friend that's been out there cow tipping. But to my point, what he does in that movie was so little is show his range of being a director. He shows a bunch of really a no-name cast, which, Pulp Fiction didn't have, and his later movies, of course, didn't have, but he showed with a no-name cast what he could do, and this kind of character development that he could bring out of these really, kind of mediocre stars. I mean,
Got a question to Tarantino's point. Do you personally, 5 minutes into a movie, you know it's a Tarantino film or not?
oh yeah,
Is that a testament to him? I mean, of what he does, or is that a negative that they're the same movie?
no, it's a testament to his film style, but I believe every real movie that he's done is very, very different.
They're different in the same theme. I think I could say that, and not get bombed by a Tarantino fan.
I would disagree. I mean, you put Reservoir Dogs up against, say,
If you put Reservoir Dogs beside Kill Bill, the same guy had something to do with these two.
I mean, yeah, but it's not anywhere near the same movie or same opening or same anything.
But they still have the same vibe. Not taken away from Reservoir Dogs. I'm just saying that's a testament to him in a positive way.
The fact that he's been able to keep his directorial style so pure throughout so many movies that cross different genres, I would say is a testament to Tarantino.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
But as far as Reservoir Dogs go,
You remember your third yet, or are you still?
I don't know, do you remember it?
I have no idea.
Go
to your fourth. You gotta go to your fourth.
But as far as Reservoir Dogs, that I'll give it is realistic characters. I mean, I think as far as Tarantino movies go, and a lot of them, get out of there with the characters, Reservoir Dogs resonates with me due to the realistic characters. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. My number 3, and half of y'all probably won't never have heard of this movie, and I don't know why.
Well, I think the reason that it's huge is that your number 3 is huge is that, this proves that we're filming live.
Yeah.
It's not going in its robotic order. And it comes to them, but the thing about it is, let's roll with it. I mean, it's
my number 3, and like I said, probably, half of y'all, if not more, that will watch this video has never heard of this movie, and I hope to convince you with this argument to check it out, would be a Japanese film by Takashi Miike called Audition. Now, Audition is a very Hitchcock-like horror movie. It relies a lot on atmosphere. It relies a lot on storytelling. It relies a lot on a slow build. But what you get at the end of this movie, and what you get throughout this movie, is a true horror experience, in my opinion. With this movie, you get to feel for all the characters, which once again, character development is very important to me. You get the atmosphere, very important to me. You get a very convincing story, and then you get up to where an ending that is just mind-blowing. As I mentioned, I think it was in the Blockbuster Overload video, how a movie pulled the audition at the ending. And to me, it's the first real movie that does it, where you have an ending, and then you think you have a different ending, and then it goes way to a different ending, and you're just like, okay, stop it. To me, it just takes my breath away. And
isn't that what a movie's supposed to do, though?
yes,
A good movie.
a good movie will take your breath away.
Right.
And a lot of people that I've seen that, don't like it, or they're against the slow burn movies. If you can't take a movie that builds up and actually has an ending that matters, then sometimes that's just cinema. Cinema is a form of art, and you have to be able to appreciate a movie that can build to such a perfect ending. What I'll do, since, like I said, probably a bajillion % of y'all do not actually know what this movie is about, is it's about a man who loses his wife, and then he auditions a bunch of girls to be his next wife. And he ends up settling on one, and it kind of gets a little crazy from there. And go check it out. You'll enjoy it. If you enjoy horror, if you enjoy anything Hitchcock did, you'll enjoy it. If you enjoy movies that actually have plot, you'll enjoy it. If you're one of those people that want to watch a Michael Bay film, you won't enjoy it.
Well, what brings us to your number 4?
What brings me to my number
And
4.
your last. This is the last. Top five.
It's my top 5 because we kind of got jumbled. But what brings me to my number 4, and this man has directed, I would not say a bad movie. And I may be wrong because I haven't looked up all the movies he directed. But to me, this is the pinnacle of his directorial
Yeah, director.
standpoint. And one of the things has to do with, probably the best actor ever, Daniel Day-Lewis. And that's not debatable.
That's
But-
definitely debatable. That's definitely another topic we're going to hit on sometime. Go ahead.
But what it is Gangs of New York. And from the opening scene of that movie, when you have Daniel Day-Lewis on one side, and you have Qui-Gon Jinn, who I can't actually remember the actor's name, but you have him on the other side.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Neeson.
You have them. Yeah, me and Brad actually had this discussion earlier today. He brought up, but you have Liam Neeson and Daniel Day-Lewis.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Awesome though. You go straight from Star Wars. Go ahead.
But you have the Taken. Yeah. Oh God, the Taken series.
Wait a minute. Pause. What about when Deadpool goes, I just had a dream that, he's talking about him, like getting his daughter taken. He's like,
Yeah.
At what point is this guy just a bad father? And he keeps getting his children taken from him. All right, go ahead.
But okay, from that scene, you understand what this movie is about. It's about gristle horror, and not horror as in like horror movies as in I've discussed already. 2 of my top 5s, but like you see people like biting into each other, tearing into each other. We see people fighting with glass on their knuckles. I mean, what these brawls were during that
Back then,
time.
it was real.
Yeah, which
When
they've
I suppose
actually
they
done.
film.
they've actually done documentaries on it, and it pretty much stays true to the timeline.
Yeah, what they had to go off of.
Yeah. But in this movie, you have, wow, star-studded cast. You have John C. Reilly showing that he can do a serious part. You have Leonardo DiCaprio, arguably one of the best actors ever. Probably should have won an Oscar for that movie, but then again, everyone in that movie should have probably won an Oscar. Then you have Daniel Day-Lewis, who did win an Oscar for that movie, as Bill the Butcher, probably one of the best characters of all time. And then within this movie, since I'm sure pretty much everyone's seen it, you know, you have a build of Leonardo DiCaprio's character of why he's trying to get revenge on Bill the Butcher for killing his dad. And what we get is a cinematic masterpiece. And what I want to really hammer home about this movie is it doesn't really rely on one aspect of cinema to drive this movie. It relies on a great cast. Every actor in that movie and actress plays their part to perfection. It relies great setting. I mean, New York during that time, very, very volatile. It relies on great atmosphere. You have what you feel like you're there. You see these scenes, you see it constantly happening, all this bad stuff that's happening during this movie, to both the protagonist and antagonist of the movie. You have a developing story. It doesn't drag, which is one of my big points in movies, is if the movie drags, I'm going to lose interest in it. I have ADHD. I can get bored of the movie very easily if it drags. But this movie doesn't drag despite being nearly 3 hours long. You don't really get that feeling anywhere in the movie. Bo, am I wrong on that?
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. And it's the basis of the gangs in City, New York, modern day.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposedly, built off of. Really love the movie.
But with that, what I'm going to close on is, to me, I think I've covered a lot of genres, and really for a Western to top it all with the amount of movies that I've seen is unfathomable. But to me, it sticks out more than anything. Of course, there's a couple of horror, but they very, very differ in the way that they're horror movies. Gangs of New York, very different from a Tarantino film. And then, of course, horror films, and of course a Western. And then we had, of course, the Tarantino film. And by all means, I am a Tarantino fanboy, and I've enjoyed pretty much all of his work. I thought Jackie Brown was very lackluster. It does have that problem of dragging, and I can get very bored in that movie easily. But this is just, it's a tip of the iceberg. It's like saying, pick 5 movies that you want to be marooned on a ship and have these 5 movies to watch. This would be my 5 movies. And please feel free to let us know in the comments. 1, what makes a great movie for you? 2, what would be your 5 movies to be marooned on a ship with?
Please tell us your 5 movies.
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bo and enjoy drinking some beer.
So, with a lot of what Peep said, one thing I took from what Peep said is like diversity. A genre that he don't even really enjoy has 2 of the top 5, am I mistaken?
Oh no, Kill Bill 2 is a great movie. You just have to look at it different from the first Kill Bill.
Well, your number 1 overall, there's zero doubt, is a genre you don't even like.
No, there's maybe a dozen movies, and most of them probably wouldn't even be, within the past 30, 40 years. I mean, John Wayne movies, they're enjoyable. And
they are, but comparable to an Avengers Infinity Wars. it's kind of like it's outdone its time, in my opinion. So
But that's saying movies really haven't,
timeless movie.
a timeless movie. There are some movies that do age very, very badly, and to me, John Wayne movies don't, because it's really carried by the character of
He
John
did his,
Wayne.
he did what, he did his part. So let me, like, when I start my top 5, this is very, very tough for me because, and I want the true movie fans is probably going to watch all this, what he says, what I say. If 5 people watch this, that's fine because we're being absolute 100% real right here. So when I start my top 5 movies,
Okay, hold on. Before we touch real quick, we have our friend Brad chiming in with his top 5. Number 1, Empire Strikes Back. Anyone who puts a Star Wars movie in their top 5 movies, I'm sorry, you lose credibility as a movie critic. Number 2, The Thing. I will agree with that, as I also put it as my number 2. But really, a Star Wars movie? Yes, they're entertaining.
Empire's the best. Well,
Empire
in
is
his defense, it's the best movie in the greatest series of movies ever.
No, calling it the greatest series now is
The only thing is debatable.
I think it's false now. I think MCU is better than Star Wars, and that probably will be a debate for a time.
We go toe to toe on that one. I still give Star Wars the edge.
Okay, number 3, Ichi the Killer. Once again, a Takashi.
What did he say?
Ichi the Killer.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Takashi Miike
No.
Japanese film.
Definitely not. I even.
It's a cerebral, semi-serial killer movie. I guess, in the ways of a Saw movie of torture porn.
Let's roll through these. Cause
Okay. And then
we're
number
long
4,
winded
Gangs
so
of
far.
New York, which I agree with. Number 5, Apocalypse Now, which Apocalypse Now is a really good movie. And let's see. Okay, what he says, first movie I ever remember seeing is Up for the personal reasons. Okay, I will not argue that if you have a personal
What is
reason for Empire.
Okay, yeah, we're not gonna. We can't go into debate. We got.
Yeah, we're not going to
We're probably 30 minutes into this one. I ain't even started. So,
Sorry I drug mine out
no, that's
for
good.
a while, but
That's good.
and then we had to get Brad involved because he's part of the channel.
He
He's our
is.
family.
I respect what everything Brad said, everything Pete said. When we started this list, my number 1, it's right there, and there's a reason that picture is right there, and that reason is, I think that's the greatest movie of all time. In my opinion, I don't think it's debatable. There's a reason that it's at that angle in this room. This is my favorite room in my own house. It's also the first thing you would see when you walk in my house when you look to your right, because it's my wine room, the room we film at, and it's there to offset this room. The reason I say that, I've never seen a film, and this film was written and made 1972. I've never seen a film do more with less. The budget to that film right there is, as opposed to the budget of something we see in modern day, is probably not even 1/50th.
Yeah, but then you have to also encounter inflations and the
Even if we encounter inflations, I still don't think they pump.
Go ahead, I'll look up the budget, Paul.
Look up the budget for Godfather 1. Even with that being said, the way it was written, the way it was performed, it was a classic example of passing the torch. You have Marlon Brando, who is superstar at that time. And when I say superstar, I mean creme de la creme, upper echelon. And you've seen him, he obviously was on the tail end of his career. And you see Al Pacino.
Okay. Sorry, but we got it. $6 million budget with a $245 million gross. So
$245 million off of 6. That's a pretty good investment.
60 times your money.
60 times your money, not counting what has been done since then.
Oh, actually 40 times your money. My bad, off.
Okay, so my point is, more with less, not even comparable. The movie had, when I say great movies, you got to look at the weaknesses in the movie. The movie has no weaknesses. There is zero weaknesses. The actual mafia at the time in New York, the Gambino family, amongst others, actually reached out to the people who made the movie and told them that they had a problem with it coming out. They still produced it. They still let it go. It is what it is today. With that being said, Marlon Brando murdered it. Al Pacino murdered it. James Caan murdered it. It's the perfect blend of great writing, great acting, great performing, everything blended perfectly in that movie, which was made in 1972. It's everything you could ever ask for in a movie. Great ending, great storyline, great plot. There has no weaknesses in Godfather 1. Some people argue Godfather 2 is better. Could you please tell me how? I like Godfather 2.
Yeah, Godfather 2 is a great movie, and we'll probably touch on that on the last subject of the night.
It can't.
But Godfather is untouchable by any other mob movie.
Show me a Marlon Brando in Godfather 2.
He's not.
That's right. You have an up and coming Al Pacino because of Marlon Brando handing the baton to him. All right. That's my number one. That's why I am. I had a huge, because up until last year or so, I've debated this. This has been a huge argument with myself. My number two movie, and I'm probably going to lose a little bit of credibility when I tell you what my number two is, because I want everybody to think that I'm just like a straight up jock. But I got to go with my heart. What movie would I take to an island with me and watch over and over and over?
Like I said, these are the top 5 movies that we want to
That
be stranded
we
on.
like.
That
Right.
we want to be stranded on the boat with.
Right. It's Rocky 4. And there's a ton of Rockies. All of them's
17 of them.
17. All of them's kind of the same film in a way. But the reason that Rocky 4 stuck out above all else, let's look at it for a minute. It was filmed in the middle of the Reagan era when we were in a Cold War with Russia. There's a Russian that can't be beat. There's a Russian that steps up and not only comes to America, he kills his best friend, cold-blooded in the ring, legally kills him, beats him to death. Rocky himself has his own doubts. Rocky agrees to fight this guy because he has to. This guy killed my best friend in the ring. I gotta go fight him. Rocky, in all the movies, everybody knows Adrian was his rock. Adrian was what he based the whole Rocky movies on. That was his rock. That's what kept him doing what he did. That's what kept him fighting. When he won the belt, what was the first thing he screamed? Adrian! Right. So he's an idiot mongoloid with a big bulging eye. Everybody agrees on that. But to my point and to his point, when saying what he said.
What up? There's Patreon.
Is somebody talking?
Yeah, we just had a shout out.
A shout out to that. Okay. So my point to that is like his only rock is Adrian, and she looks him in his eyes in their house, and she tells him he can't win. His rock looks him in his eyes in their own house and tells him he can't win. He can't beat this guy. This guy just killed Apollo. Why are you going to fight him? And not only are you going to fight him, what day are you going to fight him on? You're going to fight him on Christmas Day. Where at? In Russia. So you're going to miss Christmas. You're going to go fight this guy you can't beat. And you're going to go fight him all the way halfway across the world in the middle of a Cold War. Alright, so Rocky goes over there. He don't say nothing. Head to the grindstone. He trains natural, which we all know he's taking steroids, the actor. I mean, Stallone was taking steroids. But in the movie, he portrays he's training natural. Dolph Lundgren is juicing to the gills in the movie, and he don't even hide it in the movie, and he's doing it in real life.
Once again, on Dolph Lundgren, I will stick my neck out and say Dolph Lundgren's Punisher is better than Civil War, and you can continue.
I won't agree on that. But anyways, that is pretty funny though. But anyways, he goes and fights this guy against all odds. His wife finally shows up and says she has confidence in him.
Oh, someone asked, "Are you Roger Clemens?"
The baseball player?
Yeah,
Sorta.
yeah.
If I had a right hook like he did.
Sorry, we're responding to live chat. We do all this live on Twitch.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a good question, and I will give you props. It made me laugh.
I wish if I had a right hand that was as fast as his, I'd love it. But anyways, so my point is like he goes against all odds. He fights. This guy. There's no way he's gonna win. Of course, everybody knows how the Rocky movies go. That's the negative on the Rocky movie.
Did he lose in 3 though?
No, he did. Yeah, 3 he did.
Yeah, so you can't say that they're always predictable. That Rocky
He lost
could-
in 1 too.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, he lost in 1 too. So, that's a good point.
you can't say it's always a predictable formula.
That one has no weaknesses. In this one, you kind of knew Rocky was going to do something major. He ends up beating him, but his speech at the end brings it all together when he's like, "I'd rather us two get in the ring and kill each other rather than 50 million, because we were in the middle of a Cold War with Russia. The Cuban Missile Crisis just came down, and it was legitimate that there is a chance if this pops off, then there's going to be a nuclear attack on both countries." And to me, as a kid, and then when I grew up, I got more respect. I had the Rocky effect when I watched the movie, like he's fighting this dude that's unbeatable. As I grew and I realized why he was fighting him, and where he was fighting him, and how he was fighting him, the movie just kept accelerating. So it's hard for me to choose, The Godfather over that, but I'm going to. The Godfather has no flaws. Rocky IV has the next minimal flaws. I mean, it was something that I'm really attached to. All right, I'm done with my second one. My third one is going to be the most controversial. And I'm going to kind of breeze through these next 3 because I don't have to defend them a lot. We've ran kind of long here, but I'm going to go ahead and just throw them out here. Number 3 is American History X.
Great movie. Edward Norton.
Edward Furlong.
Edward Furlong was the one that played his
I
younger
think
brother.
they both crush it in this movie. Without a doubt, the most intense movie I've ever watched and ever went out of the theater. And I remember Gadsden would not show American History X. I had to drive to Atlanta to watch that movie in the theater. So I drove to Atlanta because I seen the previews and I really wanted to watch it. I've never watched the movie and then 5 minutes into the movie, been salivating for more. I was like, what the? I could, if you came up and handed me $2,000 and said, walk out of this movie right now, I couldn't do it.
I'd walk out of any movie for $2,000. I could go see it the next day.
I don't think I could because I want that feeling when I'm first in there. Dude, that movie was and then the more you watch it, the more you're just as the movie goes on and you see what the hell's happening and who it's happening to and why it's happening and where it comes from, I'm kind of at a loss for words about how good that movie is. And we've already referenced my buddy Koresh earlier. I remember watching the movie with my buddy Koresh and him and his best friend Terry from high school.
Punisher the Strike Zone is now your new nickname.
Punisher the Strike Zone. I like it. My buddy Koresh, remember him and Terry watching the movie with me. And they were jokesters, pranksters, and all of a sudden, and when the movie ended, they jumped up, they hit eject on the DVD player, they grabbed the disc, and they both ran out. So we called them on their cell phone, we just had cell phones back then. He was like, where are y'all going? And he was like, we gotta go watch this, bro. They didn't even tell us why or not, but it was because the movie was so intense, they had to go watch it by themselves to reevaluate.
Let me add to that point. It's one of those movies that every time you watch it, I don't care if you watched it once or 101 times, every time you watch it, you see something new and you understand a little bit more about the movie.
About the movie, yeah. And it's a super intense movie. And anybody's seen it, have you ever seen a movie that had a better opening scene and a closing scene in the same movie?
Better opening and closing. Probably not. I mean,
I think it has one of the best opening and closing scenes ever. Therefore, it's my number 3. I'm going in my number 4. Damn it. This is where I'm gonna steer off course a little bit, and I'm gonna throw some curveballs. He hadn't seen this movie. I've been begging this man to see this movie with me at my house. He hadn't seen it yet. The reason it's not number 5 is because I've always said this, and I'm going to stick to my guns. After I watched that movie, that it's in my number 5, I've always said it's going to be in my number 5 till I die. My number 5 is my number 5 till I die. The reason being, I'm not going to put it 1, 2, or 3, or 4. I want it to be in my top 5 till I die, and it's going to be there. So anything that may jump up into the top 5, it's going to elevate past this movie. So my number 4 movie is Den of Thieves. And I know a lot of people out there, again, if you've watched our other stuff, hasn't even seen Den of Thieves. He hasn't seen Den of Thieves. Bradley has seen the Den of Thieves. My buddy Terry that was here earlier has seen the Den of Thieves.
I didn't know Brad had seen it. I thought he hadn't.
He said he had.
Oh, okay.
Ask him on there. He'll answer. The movie has 0 weaknesses. There's no weaknesses in the movie.
Besides Gerard Butler's acting.
He's shadowed by a guy who's a lot more better character than him. Gerard Butler does an unbelievable job. He is a badass, but he's overshadowed by an even badder badass. You don't know who the good guys are, again, Sicario. You don't know who the bad guys is, again, Sicario. But this one, to me, is put together a little bit better than Sicario. And here, to my point, the reason that he's here and the reason that Brad's here is they dive into the movies, directors, producers, writers, more than I do. He pointed out to me, this was this man's first film ever that directed this movie.
Yeah, it's his first directorial film.
And with that being said, mind blown. It has the best ending to any movie ever. Minus maybe 7, in my opinion, that I've seen. Usual Suspects, maybe. Gerard Butler absolutely kills it, but he's overshadowed by the bad character in the movie.
I hate this, and Gerard Butler he can't really act. He plays usually the same character in every movie.
I can give you that to an extent, but P.S. I Love You, you murdered it.
I have not seen that. Go watch our previous video on my thoughts of
300, you murdered it.
No, I did see P.S. I Love You. Never mind, drunk. 300 is testosterone filled.
It is. It is what it is, but I thought he did his job.
My biggest complaint on 300 is way too digitalized. Sorry about that.
I mean, it is.
But when you watch someone get cut and then you watch the ground rot after it, you don't see the blood splatter on the ground. You're just kind of like. And now, don't get me wrong. If I had which subject we'll probably touch on sooner or later, is guilty pleasure movies. 300 would definitely be on that list.
I mean, he did his job in that movie.
Okay.
That's my number 3. So
once again, Brian brings up a good point. Law Abiding Citizen is an amazing movie.
As far as a Gerard Butler movie, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, he does a very good job in that
very
movie.
Good movie. Go to my number 5. My number 5 is for one reason. Then we're going to wrap this video up. I'll be less than 10 minutes. I'm going in and out. Wrap this video up. Then we're going to grab some drinks, and we got one more thing to do tonight. My number 5 is The Dark Knight. And the reason it's The Dark Knight, and the reason I said it's forever until I die, until something changes in my mind, going to be number 5, is because 2 words: Heath Ledger. He not only destroys the Joker character, in my opinion, he absolutely destroys acting, period. He plays a character, he becomes that character. He don't act like that character. He became that character. He went so far in depth that I've never seen anything like it before, and that movie's been out for a while now. I've never seen anything remotely close to it since, And oh, by the way, it's in a summer blockbuster movie with Batman, which everybody loves. You put the combination together in a movie that I already love, which is the origin of the Batman Begins movie, and we have The Dark Knight. It's forever going to be in my top 5 until something major changes that. I can't say enough good things about it. The movie was written perfectly, and everybody who watches the movie thinks that Batman wins, but he absolutely does not win. The Joker turned the whole city of Gotham against him and turned Batman into a criminal. He also ruined the one shining knight that Batman himself even mentioned, which is Harvey Dent. He took him and ruined him, and then Batman had to do a cover-up to cover the tracks on Harvey Dent's past. He absolutely won in that movie. The bad guy wins in this movie on the scale of what Thanos did in the new movie, in my opinion, because we're talking about the world the movie's filmed in. He absolutely murders it, and there's zero chance that anybody, in my opinion, can ever outdo what Ledger did in that movie. Therefore, it's my number 5. That's going to wrap this show up, guys. Feel free to give it. We want your top 5. We want you to come back against some of our top 5s. That's the banter we're wanting. We're going to wrap it up. Peeves, closing thoughts. We got to go.
Oh, yeah. What we want is not just your top 5 movies, but what makes a movie great to you? What makes a movie stand out? As I pointed in a lot of my subjects, is what made the movie stand out to me. He pointed a lot of things out in his movies too. Is it actors? Is it the ending? Is it the beginning? Is it the whole movie? What can make a movie stand out? What makes you breathless? What makes you in awe when you're leaving the theater? What makes you want to stand out there and, chain smoke a couple of cigarettes and talk to your friends about the movie that you just finished up watching, and with your friends? What makes you want to do that? That's what we want to know. What drives you to a movie? And we've touched on blockbusters and all that. Some of those are like that. And what we've touched on and are very unique movies. I mean, most of them are not these huge blockbusters. What really our point is, we want to get you involved. And we want to know, to the point, your top 5 movies. What drives you to a movie, and what leaves a lasting effect of a movie on you. And with that, I will say peace out and close it with, if Bo has anything
That's
to say.
it, bro. Take it easy. We got one more to do. Take it easy.